upsets, championships, and all the announce tables, all that and more here for the SummerSlam After Show.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
We're bringing it in here. It is SummerSlam. It is the biggest party of the summer, meaning this is the biggest party after show of the summer. I'm your host, Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is Kaufmann, but I'm not alone. I'm with my regular panel, my usual suspects, starting my immediate left, Denise Salcedo.
How did you forget to spell your last name, by the way?
What?
Didn't you? Okay, never mind.
Now
I'm just putting you on the spot. Anyways, I'm excited to be here. It was a long show, but it was a fun show. Lots to talk about. But you guys can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at _ Denise Salcedo.
And to her left,
it's definitely the hottest party of the summer.
It is definitely the hottest party of the summer in this room.
Not just in Brooklyn, but in here.
Thank you for calling it out right away.
But I don't know. They showed the commercial for this WWE Champions game, and it's actually really addicting.
Obviously. But where can people find you on Twitter to talk about it?
On Twitter, on WWE Champions. You know? But you can follow me on Twitter, G Hermoza, GHERMOZA. That's Steve Kaufmann, Steve K-A-U-F-M-A-N-N. That one F, two N's.
That would feel weird if I didn't do it, and now you're bugging me out already. So much show, 13 matches. We should just jump right into the first one. This one wasn't announced until later in the week, so we don't have any percents for it. For the Predictions Championship, and it is The Miz, complete with his Miztourage, Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel, and Maryse, against the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff, and Jason Jordan. This match went 11 minutes, 20 seconds. It happened, I believe, 2:30 p.m. for us.
Yeah, I think it was actually a little bit before 2:30, which was a little surprising because usually I feel like we see the first pre-show match a little bit like around like 2:30-ish, but I think this one went before. However, the only problem was that apparently there was really no one in the crowd for this one, unfortunately, because there was some sort of mishap where the show started at 2 o'clock, but the doors didn't open until 2 o'clock, so not everyone was able to see this one here.
I didn't even see it, but I mean, yeah. But as I like to call the Miztourage, Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, future endeavored at some point. Obviously, the curse, you know, Alex Riley, Damian Sandow, et cetera, et cetera.
You're not wrong.
I know.
You're not wrong. I just hope.
If anything, the Miz has the curse, but you know who has the blessing? Heath Slater.
Heath Slater is the blessing.
Heath Slater is the blessing.
He and
Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
Okay. He and JTG must have been friends at some point. Always employed.
JTG wishes he was friends with Heath Slater, but I mean, it was okay. It wasn't surprising that this match was going to happen.
No.
You kind of saw I mean, obviously everybody was expecting a Jason Jordan versus the Miz match. I feel like maybe it would have been there if there been so many matches on the actual card. So I feel like it's just kind of getting them out there. Obviously, Hardy's. Like I don't want to say they have to have a match, but it's like, dude, they're the Hardys. Like, how do you not have them involved in something, you know?
Although, the argument is, it's the Hardy Boys. How do you not get them out there in front of that Brooklyn crowd? There was no Brooklyn crowd.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that happened. It was very obvious. They did their best to cut around it. It looked like a regular match to me. But the second Miz won, and he was by the guardrail, you could just see that entire empty.
Well, you're still going to have the Hardys in the Brooklyn crowd, because Raw is in Brooklyn tomorrow.
Fair enough. Then that's fair. I was shocked by a Miztourage win. I don't know why. I think I liken these pre-show matches to like house show matches, where the face should always go over, everybody feels great, oh my god, buy the thing. They didn't do this. Miz wins. Miz wins because the Miztourage is better, and I guess they're working towards a Jason Jordan turn, hopefully.
I don't know, man. I feel like it was kind of good that this match went first and that there wasn't very many people in there just because there's been so many complications with Jason Jordan in terms of, like, are people booing him? Are they not? What's happening here with Jason Jordan? So, in a way, this kind of worked out that there wasn't very many people in there to see it, you know?
I think everything that you see with Jason Jordan is 100% intentional.
That doesn't make me feel great.
What do you mean?
That it's 100% intentional for...
That's the reaction that they want.
Well, we saw that kind of like in the past with Raw when they had the Miz say like, oh, these people were booing you when in reality they hadn't even booed him yet. So maybe that's what you're saying, as in they want the crowd to react a certain way.
I think they couldn't have expected Jason Jordan to be super popular just because it's Kurt Angle's son.
Yeah.
I feel like there's supposed to be this kind of like doubt surrounding him.
And then maybe they're judging that doubt to see where they go with him.
No, I think at some point it's gonna come out that he like falsified a paternity test.
Okay, I like that. The second match of the pre-show was the Cruiserweight Championship match. It was Neville versus Akira Tozawa. Akira Tozawa was the champion. He won it Monday. Very exciting. These guys had a great match, 11 minutes, 45 seconds.
I was super pissed after this one just because I was so excited to see something new. And, you know, with Tozawa winning the bout and then having him lose it today, I didn't see that coming at all. I kind of like fell down a cloud during that. I was like, oh, really? Like, that's it?
Not to use an insider term, but it felt like a swerve, but for swerve's sake. Like, it definitely, where it's like, oh, well, we're going to give Akira Tozawa the championship, so he's the champion heading into SummerSlam. And then we're just gonna take it away.
Yeah.
Which is the first time they've ever like hot potatoed the Cruiserweight Championship. Up until now, you've had long reigning champions. You've had
barely a year old.
It is barely a year old, but like you look through it, T.J. Perkins, the belt made T.J. Perkins. T.J. Perkins made the belt. It was symbiotic. Once he handed that belt over, he was a star. And I think the Cruiserweight Championship had done that up until Neville, where Neville just held on to it and then kind of let it rub off on other people. Yeah. And so that's what I assumed they were doing with Akira Tozawa. So we'd get a rematch in SummerSlam and then a rematch at No Mercy. And then like Akira Tozawa Neville would move on to be a bigger star, maybe go after the UK Championship. And then Akira Tozawa would move on until he has to give the belt to the next star that needs the belt. I don't know. I had too many weird expectations. The match was great.
No, the match was really good. And also, I think that, you know, we've kind of seen Neville face everybody that he can possibly face. So that's why for me it was like, okay, now I want to see Tozawa take on these guys and see what they can do together. And with the Titus brand being so exciting, I love the Titus brand. So
me too.
That's why I was just like, oh, man. Like, I wasn't expecting this in the pre-show for sure.
I also, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people are against it, but I want to see Enzo in the Cruiserweight division.
I'm all for that.
I want to see Chad Gable in the Cruiserweight division. I want to see Johnny Gargano in the Cruiserweight division. I feel like some of the Cruiserweight division, it's as great as it is on its own, I feel it's lacking a little something.
Yeah.
It needs help, yeah.
I would not be shocked if 205 Live became 205 or some variation that it's not live. Because the charm that the Cruiserweight Classic had was that it was taped at Full Sail. It was taped at Full Sail in giant blocks, and you had all these amazing people come in.
I disagree. I think it's just people don't care. I think if you give them a reason to care, I think that it wouldn't matter where they are. It's because, I mean, think about it though. It's like you put all these guys all these guys that most people have rarely even heard of just on a show, and it's like they expect them to care.
Yeah.
Not everybody watched the Cruiserweight Classic. I mean, us nerds did. Don't get me wrong, and we love it. But like, I don't know. I feel like it's lacking. I mean, Neville's like the best guy, far beyond best Cruiserweight out there. But again, I don't know. I feel like it has nothing to do with the actual vicinity. Throw in Rey Mysterio in there. I guarantee it won't even matter where they are.
That's true. But yeah, I'll concede. I will concede to that point. This match was on the forum. Now, by the way, the forum is the AfterBuzz TV Predictions Championship. It is, I believe, at ABTV PPV Champ on Twitter. We will be crowning a new champion tonight. There will be prizes for the person who's been the champion the most. You get to play a game. I get data, and I love data. So we have data on Neville versus Akira Tozawa. If we do, we would have those percents on the screen. If not, we can move on if we have to.
Well, it's hot in here, so...
It is very hot in here.
It's hot in here, so maybe it's just the heat getting to us right now.
Okay, great.
Oh, okay.
I did not write those down, so I don't see I don't see those. Great. 72.2% thought it would be Akira Tozawa. 72.2% were incorrect.
I'm not shocked about
they
this
thought
it's too early.
They thought as I thought, which was...
It's like there had to be a reason why they were just going to hotshot the title change on Monday. It's like it brings me back to the nerd in me 20 years ago, Road Wild 97, where you had Hogan and Luger facing each other at Road Wild, but then they had Luger win the belt on Nitro, only for him to lose it like 5 days later at Road Wild. Like, I don't know, it just felt a little reminiscent of that.
I'll take that. I was hoping for that to just be a shock and awe on Monday night, And then that's just where Tozawa's title reign started. That's not. He'll have a built-in rematch. They'll have a program that's on par with Austin Aries and Neville, and they'll probably trade the title a little and make each other along the way. We now have the New Day versus the Usos for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship. This was on the pre-show, and I'm gonna go out on a crazy limb. I'm happy it was on the pre-show because it had 19 minutes, 20 seconds. It actually had the time to be a good match, which if you look at the Raw Tag Team match, although that had 18 minutes, but there wasn't enough room for both. They would have had to split the difference any other way.
Honestly, I feel like this match was so amazing, so good. I honestly, you can have these teams feud forever, but the truth is that I think that this match was so good that it was kind of like a, I don't know how to say it, like an F you, like we weren't on the main card, and we're going to make this match so great, and you know what, everyone's going to be talking about it, and you know what, we are, because it was amazing.
Up until the main event, many were saying this was match of the night. Sure. And this was great. Also, I didn't think it would be the Usos. I did forget, I believe Elias was between Neville and the Usos. Did you guys enjoy this, Elias? Just a brief aside about it before we dive into the...
It was just like super random to have it on there. I was like, oh yeah, Elias Sampson, yay, whatever. That's how I felt about that.
I thought he was getting that heat. Like, I thought he was really like... Because the Brooklyn crowd was kind of behind him because they're like a contrary crowd. And he went out of his way to be like, no, I'm going to make fun of every last one of you in 2 songs. And I really appreciated that where he's like, I know what I am. I'm Elias.
I've been a huge fan of Elias Sampson for the longest time. If anybody watches, I've said it before, if anybody watches The Punisher, John Travolta, Thomas Jane, you'll know why. I think that character is a derivative of a certain character in that movie, and I thought that was the best scene in the movie. But yeah, I love Elias Sampson. I hope they give him, like, I don't know, I wouldn't mind seeing what he can do with an Intercontinental Championship run.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing what he would do if he were more than, I'm just gonna show up and play some music. Like, I would like the idea of, I'm gonna show up and play you a song, but first, this is Heath Slater from Kentucky. I'm gonna beat him down.
He's from West Virginia.
Thank you. I knew I was gonna get it wrong. He was in the Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial. Mm-hmm. But back to the Usos match. Whew. This is, like, people are gonna complain. Haters are gonna hate. This match happened. We all got to enjoy this match. I don't care whether it was on the network, on the main card, on the, like, people got to see this match. This match was amazing, and it was like a top 3, top 5 match on a 13-match card.
I think this match is going to say, like, hey, you know, some people, like, think, like, okay, the matches on the pre-show aren't going to be as great. They're just going to be, like, mediocre. But this match was kind of like, no, it's not true. We're going to be on the pre-show, and we're going to kill it. And it got the crowd really excited for it. And I'm so glad that there was way more people to see this one than there was in the first match, for sure.
Most people were in their seats by this match. Yeah. Because it was a 2-hour pre-show. And they did that Miz match really, really early. So that to do this now is very much like, oh man. But I also, and I have no insight of whether it's true or not, but I would not be shocked if these 5 guys made a choice. We would rather have this match on the pre-show, but we would get to do this match in its entirety, than be flopped with Natalya and Naomi. Looking at it right now, it would be more than likely Natalya and Naomi on the pre-show, and then the tag division in there, and then they wouldn't get 19 minutes. They wouldn't get a hot crowd. They wouldn't get what they got.
Right.
So this match, it was a perfect melding together of this match. We do have predictions on this match. Steve, let us know what they are.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
I actually got to get my mic on the broadcast here. We got the Usos at 16.7%. And the New Day at 83.3%.
Wow.
Yep. So 16.3% of you were correct in predicting the Usos versus the New Day. 2 upsets in the pre-show. Automatically, off tops, title changes. We're off to a great start.
Which then is already, we're seeing a trend of what we're going to be seeing a lot more of during the rest of the show. So
pretty much, oh, you think this is going to happen? Nope.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not surprised at just how great that match was. And kind of going to what you were saying, where like, yo, if you're gonna put us on the pre-show, like, I don't know. Again, I'm thinking like a lot of people can sit there and say like, oh, I don't care if I'm on the pre-show or not main show. Like, I mean, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. But at the same time, put John Cena on the pre-show and then we'll talk. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
it's
put
one of
Randy
those-
Orton on the pre-show.
Yeah,
You're
I'll
right.
put Roman Reigns where it's like, well, if it really doesn't matter if you're on the pre-show or not, we'll put one of them on, and then we'll see, and then we'll talk.
But Roman, yeah, like I see what you. That I think this tonight they could claim, well, we put the Miz on the pre-show, and it's like the Miz is on the pre-show a lot.
Miz on the pre-show on WrestleMania 29.
Yeah, the Miz
But-
is MVP for like 10 reasons. One of which is you can put him on the pre-show, and it'll feel like a main event. You can put him on the pre-show in a 6-man tag in front of literally hundreds of people. Not thousands, hundreds of people, and it'll feel like a main event.
Yeah.
That's how good Miz is.
Yeah, I feel like he was better on SmackDown. But but speaking about the tag match though, like if anything, and I think the guy, oh my god, like what Xavier Woods has done as a performer, as a wrestler in the past like 2-3 months. Like ever since that one-on-one match with like AJ Styles not that long ago, we're like, man, like we always knew he can go, and obviously us, you know, us like diehards know him as Consequences Creed from TNA, where it's like, oh, he was pretty good, you know, and obviously when he got signed from like to WWE, it was like, oh, okay, well, we'll see what he can do, and obviously first few months, you know, with R-Truth and whatnot, and you know, whatever, but now it's like, obviously we were so used to New Day being Kofi and Big E in the tag matches, and obviously Woods, you know, and with the trombone and whatever, but man, like what he's done in the last few months, like it's just insane. Like this guy, I don't even want to say most improved player because like we all know that he can go, but like I don't know. There's just something about what he's doing these last few months where like, I think he is the unsung MVP of SmackDown.
I could buy that.
You put him in the ring and he's just gonna deliver, just beyond anybody's imagination.
Yeah, I also think part of that was like when you mentioned he was Consequences Creed in TNA, he was also like 20.
Yeah, he's super
So
good.
like for us to remember, like, yeah, he was all right.
Yeah, he was okay.
He
I mean,
was 20.
Yeah.
When he was,
I mean,
yeah, he was
he
okay.
was busy
He was
TV
all
like
right.
Shark Boy, if
Yeah,
anything.
like-
Like nothing too memorable, you know?
But
Shout out
like,
to Shark Boy, by the way. But,
also, I feel like he got a master's in his spare time.
Yeah.
Or he got a PhD just while also doing all of this.
yeah.
That man is amazing. And a YouTube channel. That man is amazing. We're going to jump right into the main card. We've got John Cena versus Baron Corbin. They announced this in the pre-show that it's going to open the main show. That'll also give you a true cue. One of my favorite tweets was John Cena in the opening match because Nikki Bella got tickets to Hamilton. Kidding. I don't know if that was the case. 10 minutes, 15 seconds. John Cena, Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin really hot because John Cena cost him the Money in the Bank cash-in and his chance to become world champion. He couldn't really show it in the ring, though.
Where's your briefcase? That's what I want to talk about too. Is that's what the fans were chanting? I thought was hilarious.
That's great.
Do the fans not watch SmackDown?
I'm pretty sure they're aware where his
Yeah,
briefcase
like-
is. They just want to rub it in.
Honestly, after this match, I mean, if you didn't get it last week, that Baron clearly pissed somebody off. We know it again this week. Honestly, I feel like this match, for it being a starter match and for it being a John Cena match, the crowd wasn't as into it. You know, maybe, I don't know, not really. But you just don't want to be Baron Corbin after this match.
It didn't make Baron Corbin look great.
No.
Can we... George, you're making a face. Do you agree that, like...
No, I'm going to say, who, and by your scenario, who's worse off, Baron Corbin or Enzo?
I was thinking about that earlier. There's a few people we can add to that. We can even add Bailey. We can
Nakamura?
add,
Oh, Bailey's hurt.
There-
Why not Nakamura?
We'll get there. But to
If
talk about Baron
anything-
Corbin,
okay.
but to answer your question, I think Enzo is in better shape because he's a merch machine, and Baron
Yeah,
Corbin
that's
isn't. Baron Corbin is not a merch machine. He's a true heel in the sense he does not care if you buy his T-shirt or follow him on Twitter.
and Corbin was being pushed for a while. So then to see all of this and then splattered on SmackDown and then this, it was just like, I wouldn't want to be Baron Corbin. I think I'd prefer to be Enzo in this situation.
I would very much. I think we're clinging to what we hear, which is that management doesn't like him, because that narrative makes sense to us on paper right now. Whereas to that, like, we have to at least be open to the idea that there's a reality in which, no, he's going to get to lose to John Cena. He has a match with John Cena. Like, in their mind, like, it's going to be huge.
Who's that supposed to be?
An amalgam of a Vince
was
McMahon
like-
type. Like, it's like an amount, like...
Like I heard like a 1% like a Johnny Laurinaitis, or then like a 73% like, I don't know, like a combination of everyone else.
Yeah, like it's an amalgam of all of these stories.
Facing John Cena. Like,
It's an amalgam of all of these stories you hear, all of these narratives we prescribe to half the time aren't true. when the truth does come out. But like,
it's hard to see it otherwise right now from what we're seeing on television.
It's really difficult to see it any other way. I agree.
You know me, but it's kind of hard. It's like I'll be the first to defend anything, but it's like, I don't know, like the way he lost, like, and again, losing to John Cena, not a big deal. Everybody loses to John Cena. Let's be real about it. But like going back to the Money in the Briefcase thing, it's like even like other things were like, I don't know, just I don't know, like I don't know what's they're doing.
Well, they bring him in as Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner. He runs a program with Dean Ambrose leading into WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship, and he never wins the Intercontinental Championship.
Well, I mean, I don't mind. I don't think he was championship worthy.
But that's the thing. If we don't think he's championship worthy, why was he Money in the Bank winner? That's the whole problem.
Because he's big.
But again, we're under the assumption that every Money in the Bank winner is going to win the championship.
I know.
And the fact that he's a heel, I think, like, we're not supposed to like this guy. We're not supposed to root for him. So it's like, maybe it's exactly what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to like this guy anyway, so mission accomplished.
Yeah, mission accomplished. Cena wins, LOL. I enjoyed this match. There was any story that could have been told of Baron Corbin is angry didn't really come off, because the Baron Corbin character, like, that we've been prescribing to on television, like, wouldn't have answered to a 5 count in the corner. Like, would have thrown him through a table, would have, like, tried to, like, slam him through the ring. Like, rules wouldn't have applied to this Baron Corbin. That I felt a DQ finish would have been most likely. But that didn't happen. Predictions-wise, Steve, what did the people think about...
What we got here for Baron Corbin is 44.4%. John Cena with 50.9% and 4.6% into the ether between the two of them. I'm not sure what
that's an other or no contest. Like anything that isn't either of them winning.
Ah, I gotcha.
So Baron Corbin. So Baron Corbin was the favorite, correct?
No, Cena was.
Oh, sorry, Cena.
Yeah.
John Cena was the favorite here. Not a huge shocker.
Yeah, this one was actually pretty close though. In terms, like, it was only a little bit of a difference, but I think people were probably basing it off, depending on when they submitted their picks in, we're probably basing it off of what they saw on SmackDown.
Very true. Although I didn't release this form till Wednesday at noon, because this form would have had a lot of money. This form had a lot of Money in the Bank questions that I had to immediately shuffle around, because there was no Money in the Bank at that point. But I don't know. I was actually very interested Tuesday after this happened to see a John Cena Baron Corbin match that did not have a Money in the Bank briefcase looming over it. Because I think that was going to be everyone's worry, especially now that we know it was going to go on first, was that John Cena Baron Corbin was going to go on first. Baron Corbin was going to lose very quietly. We were going to forget about it, and then a million hours later, 12 matches later, Nakamura's going to win, and then Baron Corbin's going to come out. It would be great. That didn't happen. Baron Corbin didn't do it. I don't know what's next for Baron Corbin though. Like, how does Baron Corbin come back from this? Does he beat Kurt Hawkins Tuesday?
I don't know, but
Does he beat Heath Slater next Tuesday? Like,
it's not looking too good for him, to tell you the truth. At least not to me. I mean, I don't know what they have planned for him, or maybe they're gonna, like you said, swerve us into a whole other direction. But to me, personally, it's just not looking good for him.
Maybe he beats down on fans, and maybe he like literally jumps into the front row and beats down on 6 fans Tuesday, and they take him off television, and then he either turns up completely different like 3 months from now, or he goes down to NXT.
I heard he had that 30-day suspension like a few months ago too.
That's what it's interesting.
And he wasn't even hurt. Like, nothing came out like that he was hurt either. So it was weird.
I'm on record for a tweet today that I have to stand by, which is this card is completely well booked. If they intended to send Baron Corbin and Baron Corbin and Enzo down to NXT, perfect, completely logical. Oh, send them back down, bring them back up. Anyway, Naomi defends the SmackDown Women's Championship against Natalya. This match went 11 minutes, 10 seconds. These two had a barn burner. The crowd felt a little dead for it.
This was a good match, though, honestly. Natalya, I think she did very good in this match, and I'm happy that she won for it. I was definitely shocked, though, that we didn't see Carmella cash in. I thought that that's what we were going to see, especially since she was, talking on the pre-show with Renee Young and everybody, and we saw a glimpse of her watching backstage, and everybody was talking about it online, and I was like, okay, well, maybe because we all kind of assumed that it was going to happen, we thought, but it didn't happen. I was hoping it did, actually.
Carmella's doing with the Money in the Bank what she's supposed to, which is she will always draw attention to the whole division, especially the title matches, by the mere virtue of having the briefcase. That she could do it at any time.
She's teasing us. Is what she's doing.
She's definitely teasing us.
And then also she had like the whole like Staten Line and Brooklyn. I don't know like exactly how close they are to each other, but I'm very close.
Pretty sure they're very
okay.
close.
Well, that's what I was also thinking. Like, okay, well, this would be a great time for her to get kind of like a hometown kind of pop or something like that. You know?
They wouldn't want that because she's a heel, and
Sure.
Rosenberg and I did a different show where we talked about this, where I thought Natalya was gonna win. And then she would Carmella would cash in, but Rosenberg had a great point, which was a heel can't cash in on a heel; nobody will care. So it would have to be a Naomi win. So the second Natalya won, I knew there was not going to be a cash in.
When did you guys film that show?
We filmed that Thursday.
You know, heel cashed on a heel on Tuesday.
Unsuccessfully.
No, but you said cash
no.
in.
No, but we were talking about specifically the Carmella.
Okay. I was like, wait, it just happened though.
No,
we
we
were
were
talking about. He didn't cash in successfully, but he still cashed it in. I don't know. I wish that it was good. It was a good match. I mean, I wish they had maybe done a little bit more. And this is me as a nerd, but like, I mean, like, 20 years ago, Bret Hart became the WWF champion. You know, by beating The Undertaker at 20 years ago SummerSlam. I wish it would have kind of referenced that a little bit more. I know they kind of did talk about where Bret, 91, Bulldog 92, like a lot of like. Hart family references. I just wish they would have done a little bit more, like really, like emphasize the fact that this is kind of a big deal for Natty. Like, here's a girl who's only, you would think as long as she's been on the roster, you would think that she has more than one title reign.
And she doesn't.
And it's for the Divas Championship, which kind of like, they kind of forget about.
It's devalued.
Yeah, but it's like, you would think that she would have a lot more, at least like a woman's before they got rid of that one. Before Michelle McCool and Layla, tore it in half. Was it? Yeah, it was a women's championship, not the Divas. But yeah, I don't know. Just kind of like good for her, Like, but I wish they would have had it mean a lot more. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, that's just me. Like, maybe it does to some people, but I feel like it just kind of, like, it was just like it was able to compare it to the other title reigns, wins by like the Usos and whatnot. Like, it was just there. I feel like this should have been a much bigger deal. And I did like the post-match thing where like Natty was like showing Naomi, look, I'm the champ now, and obviously Naomi in tears. I thought that was a really, really cool touch. It really shows, when I saw that, I was watching it, someone, and she was like, oh, are those real tears? Real tears? And I was like, well, it's still real to her, damn it. And obviously, no, she didn't get the reference, but yeah, but yeah, good kudos to the performance overall to both women.
Definitely. It's difficult to make something have meaning in the middle of a 13-match card, but you're right. I didn't feel like they made an attempt.
Maybe because she was a heel, who knows? But like again,
you're right. They didn't want us to be sympathetic toward Natalya. Yeah. They wanted us to be upset that Naomi lost, in spite of the fact that we empathize. Like, I can't speak for everyone, but I kind of empathized with Natalya in that package, where it was like you literally made a championship. A wrestling championship, you literally made it a toy. Like, you put lights in it. Like, that offends me. And I'm in the middle of that whole argument, but at the same time, I'm like, Natalya has some good points.
Yeah.
Like, that should offend her. The wrestling is Natalya's life. Not that it isn't Naomi's, but like, I don't know.
Would you glitter up your championship if you went over the women's? You'd keep it intact?
I'd keep it how it is because I do. If I put thought to it, I mean, yeah, I like that Naomi did her thing with the bout, whatever, blah, 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 but if I was a women's wrestler, I wouldn't have changed it because that's, like, I respect everybody else that held the bout before me enough so that I wouldn't change it and I would keep it, like, prestigious in my eyes. So I wouldn't change it.
You should be a women's wrestler.
I'd be a terrible
Don't give me this clumsiness, the shenanigans. I'm clumsy. And
Are we taking her to hobo school? We making that happen? Make another video?
Probably not going to happen.
She's like a block away from Santino Bros.
Well, then, way to out her whole neighborhood.
I know, not everyone's going to know where I live, and now that opens the door for cyber stalkers.
Steve, what do people think about this match, percentage-wise?
Percentage-wise, we're looking at Natalya for 20.4%. Naomi for 75.9% and a no contest at 3.7%.
Natalya, the underdog, winning. Amazing. Like, this is 1, 2,
Would you count it
3,
our third upset?
4. This is like the fourth upset.
Okay.
And And I would imagine The Miz would be an upset if we had had time to make a form. This card is getting crazy. So now we're heading into Big Cass and The Big Show with Enzo Amore in a shark cage. I mean,
kudos to, sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
No, yeah.
Kudos to Enzo with that baby oil and slithering out of the cage.
Yeah.
Kudos to him. It was great. I love that, but except everything that happened after that, blah.
After that too? I thought before that was kind of blah.
Oh, well,
yeah, I thought
but you get me.
There was definitely a boring chant. There were more than one boring chants for this match.
Yeah.
Big Show, hand in a sling, because that's how you protect a monster like Big Show. I don't know, like, everything just felt out of place in this match. Like, the cartoonishness of Enzo, the seriousness of the big men, the Big Show and the Big Cass.
The Big Cass.
He's the Big Cass now. That's, mark it, book it, make the t-shirts. He's the Big Cass now. It felt weird, because there was such cartoonishness about Enzo in the shark cage. And then there was such seriousness on the ground that, like, Big Show's hand was broken, and, like, Big Cass was actually working on the hand and, like, doing some good ring psychology. The people didn't seem to care. And then Enzo, like, literally took most of his clothes off and rubbed himself in baby oil to try to get out of the shark cage.
But for what?
So he could get beat up by Big Cass, and Big Cass could then beat up on Big Show and win the match. Like, this
honestly
was exactly what I thought it would be.
I mean, I always have hope. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, every time right before Cass just, like, makes Enzo look like a fool, I always have hope that we're not going to see Enzo look like a fool. Honestly, I just want to, if we're going to have Big Cass, you know, become great and all of that stuff, I want him see him away from Enzo. I don't want to see them anymore in the same stories. That's
I'm pretty sure the last time they've had this match, we were both in agreement. Cool, so Big Cass moves on now. And then then the following Monday, Big Cass does not move on. It's Big Cass, Big Show, Enzo, Triangle. They're trying to get back together. Corey Graves is involved. Like, it's all just, can this be it? You had a shark cage.
I've always just wanted to know, like, why was Big Cass trying to keep it a secret?
Yeah.
I always thought that was weird. Like, oh, Corey Graves, you know, spilled the beans. Like, why? I don't know. Why?
What was the secret?
If you're gonna beat him up, then why are you trying to hide it? And then you said everything you just said. Like, all right, I thought it's kind of been weird from the first, you know, from that day. We've had some great Enzo promos, and you know, during the lead up, and whatnot. Even today was really good. But yeah, just weird. I would have rather have seen like Enzo and Big Cass in like a Brooklyn street fight, where like, you know, Enzo like still loses, but like at least like shows heart. Where it's like, all right,
shows heart,
now
uses a shopping cart,
and now
like,
you know, Big Cass is supposed to win, but at least Enzo put up a fight. You
took
know,
a giant bump,
and then you know go their separate ways. But I don't know, it's just weird. Like, I don't know. I get it. You're trying to put Big Cass over by beating Big Show, but I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna make a bold thing right now. If I'm watching Monday Night Raw tomorrow. And there's more Enzo, Cass, Big Show, Saxton, Renee, like all just, I'm out.
You're like, I'm done. That's it.
Like, let Enzo have a match with another person. He can lose.
He doesn't even have a match.
It doesn't even have to be a match. It could just be anything, just something else.
Because how do we take him seriously is the problem. Because he could go out and beat Kurt Hawkins. Kurt Hawkins is my go-to job guy for some reason. But, like, he can go out and have a match with someone and, like, make it to the end, and then Cass jumps in. Or something goes awry. Or maybe, God forbid, he just wins, but wins in a way where it's just a quick 1, 2, 3. They're both equal. They're not, I don't know. Anyway, Steve, what were the predictions on this one?
Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
All right, we're looking at Big Cass for 90.7%.
Wow.
The Big Show at 8.3%, and a no contest at 0.9%.
Which, they didn't really explain the rules. You would think a no contest would be the guy you put in a shark cage, which was the only rule, gets out of the shark cage, but I'm not them. This was the first not upset of the night.
I mean, in terms of the numbers.
Huh?
Didn't people pick Cena?
Cena was...
I thought he was a favorite, according to the...
Oh, sorry, never mind. This was... You're right. But this was a 90% favorite. Things happened how we expected them to, and we didn't like it. Go figure.
Well, the crowd told everybody with the boring chance. So.
Yeah, like if it's stale and predictable, we don't like it.
I would be so devastated if I was wrestling and people were chanting boring, by the way.
You know, I already have a gimmick in mind, but if I ever have like a plan B, my name's gonna be like John Beauring. Boring. So I'll be like, wait, you guys are chanting my name. Oh my god. Yay! Boring. Boring.
I like that.
That's kind of sad that you're already planning on being boring,
No.
though. You should
But he's
know.
planning on getting out of the way. That he's planning on being
See,
unable.
the trick is in wrestling, you think that I'm wrestling intentionally boring when in reality, or you think I'm unintentionally doing it, but the trick is you're getting worked.
So I think we all have this next match. I think we all have a lot of feelings about, which is Randy Orton and Rusev. However, we have to be limited by time because this match itself was only 10 seconds long.
Okay, so go fast. What the heck happened with Rusev?
Well, so Randy Orton should have been the good guy. And I think there's a widespread indifference for Randy Orton in places like Brooklyn. So that was one. Two, the crowd was really, really not into the match before it. They were really, really dead for the match before that. They felt really, really, like, ashamed the match before that. Like, this whole thing, Orton coming out, we're supposed to be like, yes, Orton, our savior, is here. And then Big Bad Rusev comes out and beats down on him before the bell rings. Maybe that's the way the narrative played for most television viewers. That's not how it played for me.
I saw it differently. I saw it like, oh, you know, he came out, attacked Randy before the bell rung, and then all of a sudden, you know, we're thinking Randy's down. Are they going to ring the bell? And then, bam, RKO. So, you know, how's he thinking there? Like, what is happening? Was this a nice way for Rusev to lose? Was it not? I don't think it was. And a lot of people were tweeting, like, who did Rusev piss off? Because this was not the way we saw this match play out. But then again, look, there's so many matches on the card. Not everyone can go so long. So maybe this was just the match that had to bite the bullet, and maybe we'll see them, you know, go SmackDown or something. They can have a better match.
Well, I'm coming around on this one. When it initially happened, I had the shock and awe of like, oh my god, they're burying Rusev. That's not the case. Rusev has a unique skill that people like The Big Show and Kane, and I have a list, and the Great Khali before him and Umaga before them, that have the ability to be a monster. But a beatable monster. In order to be a beatable monster, there needs to be a cyclical way where you beat a bunch of people, somebody beats you to take all that mojo. You then have to start at the bottom and beat a bunch of people so someone can take that from you and take all that mojo. If you look at John Cena's career, there were a lot of monsters. Not all of them were as good at the cycle as Rusev was. Rusev, I think, is on the level with Big Show as far as that cycle goes. He might not want to hear that. But this match proves that between Rusev and Randy Orton, they both really needed a win. But Randy Orton, they have more stake in Randy Orton. And he lost a lot. Like, he's pretty much lost since he won at WrestleMania. Correct me if I'm wrong. He won at WrestleMania, and he's pretty much lost ever since. Other than beating the champion non-titled this week. I don't know, Randy Orton needed the win. It ultimately makes Rusev look like he got caught, not beat.
Right.
Which helps him rebuild tomorrow. Tomorrow, or Tuesday, he should come out and beat a nobody, and then kind of a somebody, and then work his way back up to the level of a Randy Orton.
That's so funny. First off, what an RKO. But second, I don't know, it's just funny that you say that, but like everything that you just said can be applied exactly the same way to Baron Corbin.
Agreed.
So is it? Then again, I'm not disagreeing with you as far as like I disagree with you that, but it's like, but as far as like obviously I'd rather see Rusev than Baron Corbin, but like you got to think in the eyes of the WWE, it's like maybe that's what they have for Baron Corbin, if anything. But it's just funny how like our mind kind of like plays with us as far as like, yeah, that's Baron Corbin, but because we like Rusev more, it's like, oh well, that's gonna be, we want that for Rusev. Maybe because we know he's funny, you know.
We know. Well, oh no, I see a lot more in Rusev. I just know,
again, I think it's because of the personality.
And I just know that they don't. And it's gonna be a long road for him. But he has proven the ability to stay on the main roster, stay on TV, stay relevant, stay in that cycle where he can keep coming back to John Cena, keep coming back to Randy Orton, keep coming back to the world title scene. That he'll keep, if you keep doing that, you stay on TV, you're Kane, you're the Big Show.
He has something that I think, you know, people want to keep seeing. I want to see, and I want to see him, you know, one day come on top, you know, and stay on top for a while, you know, because Rusev has it. He has something that we all, like I said, want to see.
Big Show's had those runs. Kane has had those runs. Those are the two that pop out immediately.
And
But
I don't see it with Baron. Sorry.
I do not want to think of Big Show having the runs. But what was the percentage on that Randy Orton versus Rusev predictions?
We have Randy Orton at 51.9%.
Oh, wow.
Rusev at 46.3%. And a no contest at a whopping 1.9%.
This was a coin flip.
Yeah, this one was really close. I think people were probably like, okay, this can go either way, you know, because they're both, you know, great in their own respect.
Because the question became, like, for Rusev to beat Randy Orton tonight would mean that they're building him all the way up for Jinder to beat him. Or Nakamura to beat him. Whoever would win. The question becomes, is Randy Orton the end of the cycle or a step on the cycle?
Right.
I think that would be, and I think that's why we had such a split, was we genuinely didn't know.
I think just because both men needed that win, they both kind of came off a loss from Battleground.
Yep.
Especially Rusev, where, like, I don't know, like, obviously losing against Cena, you would think that you'd find some place to rebound, but I guess maybe the same way there's no there's no shame in losing to Cena, there's no shame in losing to Orton either. Maybe I don't know. Who knows? Maybe that's their mentality.
Yeah,
but
and he didn't get beat. He got caught. And he can, well, you know, I know it's semantics.
You get caught when, actually, I don't know, you're probably right. But
it could have gone worse. It could have made him look worse in terms of
but it was
losing.
such a short match where, like, you had no energy drained from you, and now you're not going to kick out. Maybe he did get caught.
We'll go with caught. Maybe we can even claim that Randy Orton, the Apex Predator, the thing they tell us all the time, literally played possum.
Yeah.
That would play into the character they created. Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss. Singles match for the Raw Women's Championship. Love this match. 13 minutes, 10 seconds.
This one came out of nowhere. I was not expecting Alexa Bliss to lose her belt at all. I love both girls, and I love Alexa as champion. I've been loving her as champion. You know, I love Sasha Banks as well, but I just didn't see it. I was like, oh man, like, this is happening? Oh, great. But I was happy for Sasha, but I was sad for Alexa Bliss. So, I mean, I just thought this was shocking. Good match, too.
This was definitely...
I like this match better than the SmackDown's match.
Yeah.
Which is surprising.
Yeah, like...
It's funny that ever since the brand shakeup, whatever it was called, like, I don't know, a lot more Raw matches are being pretty good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. This was one I literally couldn't... It was a coin flip in my mind. Predictions-wise, where I was like, I don't know who could win this match.
Right.
Or they could both win this match. They both have the pedigree. They both have the credential. They both have the ability to do it in the ring. The Bayley of it all is interesting.
That's what I was wondering. Like, how would have this played out had Bayley not been had Bayley not had her shoulder injury? Would we still have been seeing the belt change? Which I heard that was not a possibility. They were still going to keep it on Alexa. So then, now that Sasha came in, like, what made that change come about? You know?
I think the end game has been, and they've been, frankly, gun shy. But the end game has been to turn Sasha heel on Bayley.
I've been saying that for like a year, though. Maybe
But I know, but like, they've been really gun shy about it.
This is probably
But
not
they
the
keep
best
laying
moment
these
for that to happen to Bayley, though. She hasn't been having the best year. So now to throw something like that on top of all of this, it would just be like...
Well, her shoulder needs to heal.
Yeah, of course.
She needs to be able to actually compete. But assuming she can actually compete, we should see something from her. And then see something where Sasha turns on her. We keep saying this. I don't know.
I'm glad that it didn't end up being like Alexa and Nia, and then all of a sudden Nia takes the belt, because that's where I thought they were going for a while, and I was like, no. So I'm actually glad that there was this turn of events.
I'm glad with this too, because now we're built in. These two can go. These two are having great matches, and now we have a reason for a built-in. Now we have a reason for a built-in rematch in No Mercy, which Alexa Bliss is on the cover for.
And
love that commercial so much.
I loved it too, by the way. It was so cool. And it's in our hometown. No Mercy.
Oh, our current town. Sorry.
Yeah. Like us, like here.
Yeah. Yours, that side of the table's hometown. I live here now. I'm from Philadelphia.
Oh. But you get what I mean.
Yes.
Like here, like physically, like we can go.
Yes, No Mercy is here in Los Angeles. We'll have to have an email thread about who's going to get here and when. What were the predictions like on this match, Steve? So a tiny favorite, but or a tiny upset, but an upset nonetheless.
I think it was just surprising.
Yeah.
I think people thought that Alexa was going to retain just because she's been killing it.
Yeah,
I remember early in the week, this was a coin flip. This was literally like a 45-65. Nobody knew.
45-65. That's funny.
Numbers.
That equals 110. Yeah, this was. I really, really like this match. I think this was the match. I don't want to say this is the match I should have had at Great Balls of Fire. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe you're bringing out the big guns for SummerSlam. You know, this is the match. This is the event to have that kind of match as opposed to their other matches they've had previously. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, the outsider. Although they didn't mention it that much, but I feel like the outsider would argue. I don't know who the blonde girl is, but isn't the other one Snoop Dogg's cousin? Like. That name recognition, it's weak. I
don't think
it's
so.
a weak theory. I'll walk it back.
Just because they don't even say that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really don't.
We've heard it probably just like a few times, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh.
Okay. Well, next up we have Finn Balor, the Demon. He goes up against Bray Wyatt. They actually had a 10-minute match. If anything, I thought this would be the 10-second match. Finn Balor, the Demon, his entrance, loved it.
It was great to see the Demon back, and we couldn't see the Demon lose here today. So it was a good win for him.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to see him lose on... I know he's lost on NXT before, but he's not going to lose main roster anytime soon. I mean, I guess the match pretty much served its purpose. This is one of those matches where, you know... I kind of curious about the percentages where I kind of think, like, who honestly thought that Bray Wyatt was going to win?
Very few. Steve, what were the percents on that?
1 second. Here we go. The percents on Finn Balor, my bad, guys.
No worries.
Was at 92.5%, Bray Wyatt at 5.6%, and a no contest at 1.9%.
Who are the 5%? I want to pick your brain on why you would pick Bray Wyatt. Like, they're not going to... I know it's not his debut match as a Demon, but obviously it's been a year. They're making a big deal. Like, I want to know who the 5% are.
Especially after he lost clean on television Monday.
Yeah.
This is a great match. Love these guys. My only worry is Finn Balor, not as the Demon, going to be just a loser? Like, in the sense that he'll never win on television just as Finn Balor.
No.
Time.
I
hope
don't
He
think
beat Roman Reigns on his first night.
I agree. I'm just hoping moving forward anyway, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins faced the champions Cesaro and Sheamus, the Raw Tag Team Championships. I loved this match
I have
too.
so much to say about this match, about the build-up. I've loved this build-up. I'm not really a big fan of two guys getting thrown together, but there's something about these two guys, and obviously it's the Shield effect that just fits. Like, this was, if anything, when the Shield first started, this was probably the tag team that everybody wanted to see as champions, as opposed to Roman and Rollins, which ended up being. But man, like, these guys together, like, and one beef, and they kept saying, like, oh, this is their first time teaming together. Didn't they team like a month ago against the Miztourage? Come on, guys.
Probably.
Come on, guys. Other than that, I thought this was awesome. Everything from the opening bell to the beach ball to
That was
The
awesome.
beach ball was amazing.
That was awesome. Honestly, I also love the build-up to this, too, in terms of I felt like Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins were playing like a romance kind of thing. I know it's super dramatic, but that's the way I saw this. And, the crowd was really into it. New tag champs, that's exciting. Really fun to see where this is all going to play out. And the beach ball moment was awesome because I was like, wait, where's Cesaro going? And I just see him, I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, yeah, they were throwing a beach ball around. I'm like... Yes, because beach balls don't belong in wrestling.
And the beach ball moment was perfect because you could hear the crowd not into this match up until that moment when Cesaro is, oh, they're paying attention to a beach ball? I will handle that. And he walks into the crowd and now there's no beach ball. Why don't we watch some wrestling?
I really think if they do this correctly, I feel like this can be a big money tag team in terms of like building it like the Shield versus the Hardys. The Shield versus the Revival when they come back. The Shield versus the Club. Like, I really feel like if they do it correctly, like this can be... Obviously, these aren't going to be a long-term tag team for the next 3-4 years, but I feel like at least give them like 3 to 5 months as like tag champs and, just have them face guys where like, oh my God, the Shield might as well be the Shield against the Hardys and the Revival and Shield and whatever, the Club.
I hope so. My ultimate worry is... especially the Raw Tag Team division, is too worried about having teams and not tag teams. Cesaro and Sheamus, who were two singles competitors, versus Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, who are now two singles competitors who used to be a team. I want them to move forward how you're saying, where they're a team and they're facing other teams. I worry that that's not what they're going to do.
See, I feel the same about Sheamus and Cesaro. They just happen to click really well. But man, again, something about Ambrose and Rollins that just fits. Like even as singles guys, like they just fit together. Like,
I would love
I
would love nothing more than for them to be a tag team and also active in the single scene.
I think there's time for the future for singles, but I just want them to be a team for now. I feel like they are going to do what you said. Maybe they'll have like a singles match with him against, whoever. But like, I just want them to be a team for like at least like 3-4 months and just, have an actual tag team division.
Great. Steve, real quick, what were the percents on that?
Percents for Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose were at 75.3%. Sheamus and Cesaro at 22.5% and a no contest at 2.2%.
Yeah, they didn't really fool anybody. But we came in, we saw it, we liked it. The next matchup was AJ Styles, the current United States champion, went up against Kevin Owens, who was not introduced as the new face of America. He's just Kevin Owens. Shane McMahon is the special guest referee. This is a fun special guest referee match. I don't know why I had such resistance. I had resistance for the weeks heading into this match, where I was like, man, why are they giving us such a good match? And it's all about Shane McMahon. Once we actually got in there, the match was about them. And Shane was present.
I love this match not only because it was good, but because it set like precedent for later on. I think we're going to be seeing Shane and Kevin Owens, hopefully at No Mercy.
Ooh.
And then, I mean, I would hope
That's
so, right?
soon.
Basically, maybe because I'm going to be there. Anyways, but...
Sorry, it's a Raw pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go. Sorry, I'm blanking
so
here.
bad,
Sorry.
yeah.
Anyways, but I do see that happening, and then I'm thinking also that AJ Styles is probably going to go back to doing his U.S. Open Challenge, and that would be a great time to bring in Bobby Roode, maybe. Fingers crossed.
I'm with you. Also, I mean, the future is Styles Nakamura. I thought it would be champ versus champ, but Survivor, you could build up to a Survivor Series Styles Nakamura match on just the United States Championship. I honestly think you could build that match without a championship at all, but, other people would probably beg to differ.
I thought it was a good match, but I agree with you in terms of like, why does it need, like when they did announce the special referee, I'm like, it doesn't need it. And honestly, this match was more about the actual story than the actual match itself. The match was fantastic, but I think the show, the story itself was like, well, this person hit Shane accidentally, that person hit Shane accidentally. Shane got the 3 count, or counted 3 on Owens, but a Styles thing. So I think it was a little more about the story. But I think a story well told. I think it was a fantastic story that was told in general overall.
I agree. Steve, what were the percents on this one?
Percents for this one were Kevin Owens at 10.2%, AJ Styles at 86.1%, and a no contest at 3.7%.
So the predictors had it on this one. We're going to get into the final 2 matches. We had Shinsuke Nakamura up against Jinder Mahal, who is with the Singh Brothers. He represents all of India. They failed to mention that Shinsuke Nakamura kind of represents all of Japan. There are only 4 Japanese wrestlers on the whole card. One of them had lost their championship in this same card.
So what were we going to say about Nakamura? We all saw the finish. We all know Nakamura lost. But what were we going to say? I'm kind of curious. We were like, I'll get to it when the match happens, when we talk about it.
In what context?
You said that Shinsuke was on the same list as Baron Corbin and Enzo. That's what you said.
Here's why. Shinsuke Nakamura, this was his first televised loss since TakeOver Orlando, where he lost to Bobby Roode for the world title and then went up to the main roster. Him winning the world title, which is something that's going to happen, should be a very big deal and a culmination of wins and dominance.
I agree.
That he beat John Cena to get here, to then just have a kerfuffle and lose to Jinder Mahal.
Why is it a kerfuffle?
It was just a kerfuffle. That's what it was. It wasn't outright malice by the Singh. It wasn't outright planned malice by the Singh brothers and Jinder Mahal. There was no Great Khali. Like, there was no insurmountable obstacle. It was a kerfuffle.
But what was the emotion that generated from you when that match ended?
I was not happy that Shinsuke Nakamura lost, which I understand is the point.
So you were upset that the heel won. Wow. WWE's doing their job. You were upset that the heel won and the face lost. Correct, right?
I think from a storytelling standpoint, I feel a Nakamura win would have more value if he had not lost prior. That's just me. Maybe I'm a different storyteller than most.
I just think that it's because they're pushing Jinder so hard that I expected Shinsuke to lose, but it doesn't make Shinsuke look bad at all because we already know how great Shinsuke is, and we know something else is, he's going to have something else with somebody else instead of Jinder Mahal because clearly they're pushing Jinder Mahal to the moon. But it doesn't make Shinsuke look bad at all. And overall, honestly, I think Shinsuke gave Jinder Mahal probably his best match that he's ever had in the company today.
I will agree with that.
So that's a applause for the Maharaja.
Because if anything, like I think the overall presentation about Shinsuke Nakamura was that this guy is a freaking superstar. From like the opening intro to like the fans, like even if you're a casual fan that only watches the Big Four, like man, like I know he wasn't on Mania obviously, but it's like man, this is my first glimpse of Nakamura. This guy's awesome. Like I want to know what the big deal about this guy. Like he just came across as a superstar, and the fact that he lost because of kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle's a good word.
I love that.
I think it's just brilliant booking. I think it's genius, to be honest. I think it was a little too soon for Nakamura. I feel like they keep saying about his masterpiece, this portrait being done. I don't know. I feel like he's got a lot more to paint before he becomes the champion. I feel like he's got more of a journey that's going to maybe culminate out of WrestleMania.
More of a journey, more of a chase. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. I wish. Then I don't know. I'm going too far back in time on what my wishes are. Then I guess I wish he hadn't beaten John Cena clean on television to get this spot to only then lose.
I still think it should have been Cena Mahal, but I mean,
I'm on record disagreeing with you. I agree with you now. This would have been better.
No, I mean, again,
this would have been better.
Given the same exact, because essentially, when I said Cena Mahal, I pretty much wanted or expected this finish to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think he was going to beat him clean the same way. I feel like, so yeah, I feel, I mean, the match, again, it was great. I have no real complaints about it, except for, I thought it should have been Cena, but yeah, other than that, we're fine.
If we're really just going to armchair book, Nakamura Styles should have been a match. Jinder Mahal Cena should have been a match, and Baron Corbin Rusev, just so one of them can win, I guess.
Yeah.
Should have been a match. Steve, what were the predictions on this one?
Predictions were Shinsuke Nakamura at 56.5%, Jinder Mahal at 41.7%, no contest at 1.9%.
Wow, I'm shocked by that.
Wrestling is best when you can't tell the difference, or when you can't really predict the outcome, and that's a true indicator here.
I'm curious about the predictions of the next match.
Oh, these predictions were insane for this next match. This next match was a fatal four-way match for the WWE Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe. This match
was insane. Like, oh my god, from the opening bell, like it's like if you blink, you missed so much. Oh, again, maybe if you can blink when like they were taking Brock Lesnar out, but that's it, just to catch up. But
this was a mile-a-minute kind of a match. For it to be a 20-minute match, like it felt like
this match was amazing.
Like seeing that it's a 20-minute match now makes me think I was through, like when people go through a car wreck that's more than 30 seconds, they tell you like, oh my god, it felt like a million years. Like that's how this match felt.
Holy crap.
It was awesome. They had a lot of amazing stuff that happened. The announcers' tables were completely destroyed. They had some chair spots. They had all sorts of awesome stuff, even with the steel steps. Everything that they could have used in that vicinity was used, and it was awesome, and that's exactly what we wanted to see. Braun made Brock Lesnar seem like a human, you know? Like, he didn't make him, like, there were two monsters, obviously, going at it, but he made him look like a little, like, less of a monster, which is great,
Braun,
because that's awesome. That's what we want Braun.
But I love this, too, that then they made very good use of saying, no one has handled Brock Lesnar this way.
Exactly.
Like, at all. Like, no one has had the opportunity, let alone picked Brock Lesnar up and thrown him into a table, let alone done it twice, and then put the third table on top of him. Loved everything about this.
And with all due respect to Seth Rollins and Finn Balor during that Extreme 5-Rule match, but, like, this match was, like, 4 guys that were just monsters.
Yeah.
Like, obviously that match was missing Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar, but, like, now you put them together with Roman, who's the guy. Let's be real. He is the guy in the WWE. And then put in Samoa Joe, who's just a killer. Like, oh my god, like I cannot say enough about this match, just on how freaking fantastic and fabulous, and other F words that I'm sure I can't say because it's PG. But like just phenomenal. That's not an F word, but, you know,
yeah.
still the PH.
I liked that Roman Reigns was actually the one that took the pin too.
I really like that.
Because that kind of like eliminates him, lets him move forward to, you know, to something else. And I just, oh my God, this was awesome. Like, I cannot stress it enough.
I was on record this week saying that it was almost an unequivocal fact that if Samoa Joe wins, he has to tap out Brock Lesnar. Otherwise, Samoa Joe is taking the pin. And I was 100% wrong. I think they listened. Good for you.
Yeah.
But I'm
hoping now we get to see Brock and Braun together.
That's
just
going to be
them
the
two.
needs to
That's
be,
going to be the main event of No Mercy.
That's going to be crazy,
That's going to be the
man.
No Mercy main event.
really? You think they're going to use Brock on a No Mercy?
Well,
They already said that.
he's
He's already
been
announced
out.
it. Oh,
He's
is
been
he
out.
announced
Yeah,
for No
he's
Mercy?
been out.
This isn't a prediction.
I'm going to get me
It's
them
just-
tickets
It's
then.
it's a gimmick, or not a gimmick. It's a spoiler. But like, what was I gonna say? Forgot what I was gonna say. Braun Strowman versus Samoa Joe. Oh yeah, yeah. And I think it was a little poetic justice about like some Roman Reigns coming out there pretty much demanding a Universal Championship match, and him actually take the pinfall.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I think it was just kind of like, that's what you get. For pretty much coming out there and, you know, wanting, pretty much demanding a title shot.
And now it makes you wonder if we're going to be seeing a full Shield reunion and have him join Dean and Seth.
No.
You never know. It could be a
Please,
thing.
no.
Like, this is gonna sound
be a
weird
thing.
to say, and again, I don't mean this as belittling or anything, but he's too big for that. Like, this is his like yard. Like, he is the guy. Like, I don't know. I feel like it'd be a step down in him.
Well, I'm not even saying a step down as much as he would not be received well. If he joined Seth and Dean, he would not be received well. But there's also a place on the card too. He's a top of the card guy.
Yeah.
Seth and Dean have the tools to be top of the card guys, and they have been top of the card guys, and they will be top of the card guys again. Roman is currently a top of the card guy.
But this match was just so awesome. Like, again, I don't know where to go with Roman and Samoa Joe. I mean, honestly, I would have thought Joe would have won. I don't know. That was my personal prediction. And I would never have thought that he beat Brock. I thought he would have probably pinned Roman, setting up the main event for No Mercy. But like, again, I don't know. This match was just, it's crazy insane. Maybe I can't even think of other Fatal 4-Ways off the top of my head. But right now, I'm saying that the best Fatal 4-Way of all time.
People will let you know in the comments if that's not the case. But anybody have anything else about this match? I just really. I don't want to blow by blow about this match, but I just want to gush about this match a little more.
I actually thought that. I was like, okay, if we're not going to have Brock Lesnar win, I thought it was going to be Samoa Joe as well. And I was like, okay, there's a chance, there's probably a slight possibility that it could be Braun, but at the same time, I was like, we still have to see him chase it a little bit more, the journey, whatever. And so that's what I thought there. And then I think once they took Brock Lesnar out into the stretcher, I was like, okay, the match is going to continue, and then he's going to come out and, take the win from there. And so that's the moment when I realized, okay, like Brock is going to take this one.
This entire finish took me by surprise because I thought it was a foregone conclusion that Brock was leaving. I thought it was a foregone conclusion that Brock was losing the match.
Steve, stop reading the internet.
I should.
I mean, I do the same thing.
That's not even reading the internet. That's
We're all on the internet.
That's essentially believing Paul Heyman's little hidden messages that he does.
That's not even that. Like, literally, I listened to John Jones in an Octagon say that he wanted to fight Brock Lesnar and went, Brock Lesnar would do that.
Yeah.
That's all it was for me, where I was like, Brock Lesnar would do that, and WWE would take the title off him to take him off television.
I don't see
so
why
he
they
could
would take the
explore
title.
that.
If anything, why don't you have the UFC belt and him carry the WWE belt to the UFC?
Because you lose.
He's gonna lose anyways. He's gonna lose to John Jones. Trust me.
Then the answer is very clear. Why would you have him bring your belt?
He's just gonna lose anyway.
Or why would you put him in a situation where he could even possibly lose?
Why doesn't John Jones have that belt? Damn it! And he beat Brock Lesnar.
Because if John Jones beats him in the MMA, he's got to go into wrestling. It's a whole thing. Steven, what were the predictions here?
The predictions stand at Roman Reigns for 11.1%, Samoa Joe at 19.4%, Braun Strowman at 14.8%, and Brock Lesnar at 54.6%.
I was fooled. They were not fooled. They knew it would be Brock Lesnar. They saw right through all this. Didn't matter. It was a great match.
Yeah.
It made Braun Strowman. Like,
Nobody looked bad in this match. This is one of those few matches where nobody in any way, shape, or form looked bad. Everybody got elevated in their own way.
And those are the matches that we like, you know, honestly, like even if you hate one guy, but if they put on a hell of a match, like credit to them, man. Thank you for putting on a great show.
Yeah, I loved this match.
This match was awesome.
So before we get out of here, I should mention, I know who the AfterBuzz TV Predictions champion is.
Who?
The AfterBuzz TV Predictions champion is Benjamin Jeske 1. He's at Benjamin Jeske 1. The tweet will go out about 12:30. Congratulations.
Yay.
You are the AfterBuzz TV Predictions champion. You will win the points for SummerSlam.
Nice.
Check out at ABTV PPV champ on Twitter. All that information is there. Do we have any parting blows?
I feel like we're going to see a lot of call-ups in the next week or two.
I would love that.
I think we're going to see it.
Hopefully Bobby Roode, definitely, especially after TakeOver.
Oh man, my honestly, I think, and it's funny because I didn't think when they first signed Bobby Roode, I was like, he's gonna take him a while to get over. But after like a few months, I was like, this guy is so legit. He's ready for the main roster. I really wish he would have came up with the NXT title and would have challenged for one of the belts and beat whoever, and he would have been a double champion. I think he's that good. I think he's that ready for the main roster, and then vacate the NXT title, and then but you know what not. But
Do I get to make a crazy prediction?
Yes.
well, that's my crazy prediction. So yes, absolutely.
Okay, I've had this. I think I've only shared it privately because I was at the Mae Young Classic. They did the bracketology tonight. It's going to air next week. I'm not spoiling anything by saying the finals are going to happen in Las Vegas, I believe on September 12th. My honest to goodness prediction is that Asuka will come up to the SmackDown main roster with the NXT Women's Championship. She will hand it to Shane McMahon in exchange for a shot, hopefully at a newly crowned Carmella who had used her briefcase to get there. Beat down on Carmella, become Women's Champion, relinquishes the NXT Women's Championship.
Yeah, that's my power here.
Just in time for the winner of the Mae Young Classic to become NXT Women's Champion.
And it would be great because she'd be undefeated. So there you go.
She'd be undefeated and come all the way up. The Mae Young Classic would mean everything because that woman would immediately become NXT Women's Champion. Everything.
So you're saying, I mean, I think.
And if you're watching this from the future and I nailed it, I don't work for WWE, but I'd like to.
So you're saying on the same, because obviously it's SmackDown, Asuka comes up, and then at the Mae Young Classic, they're like, oh, well, by the way, this is going to be for the NXT Women's Championship. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay.
Or we could even do. Like if September 12th is the Mae Young Classic final, you could do the SmackDown before that, like a whole week before that. So you have a full week to say these two people. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but I know who they are.
Yeah.
Are going to one of them's going to become the winner of the Mae Young Classic and NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great idea, and it would just make it that much more special, I think.
And if that's not your plan, WWE, but you're listening, take it. It's yours. I would love it. Just give me tickets.
That's awesome.
George, if the people wanted to reach out to you on the Twitter, where can they find you?
Oh, on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at G Hermoza, GHERMOZA. Is it right there? Is it right there?
It's likely right there.
We're like,
there.
hopefully it is.
Should be. Oh yeah, it should be right there. I don't know.
All right, guys. You guys can watch me, by the way, every Wednesday on the Xpog podcast at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at _Denise Salcedo.
And as always, you guys can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is KAUFMANN. I do a lot of shows all around the internet sphere, and I tweet about them regularly. I'm also doing one called The Sober Year. You can go to thesoberyear.com. It's where I am not drinking alcohol for 52 weeks, and I do a weekly vlog discussing it. It'll take you to that. Thesoberyear.com will take you to that playlist where you can see me lament or succeed, or depending on where I am that week. But for George Hermoza, Denise Salcedo, I've been Steve Kaufmann. Thank you, and good night.
Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.